Selling face? When Changfeng heard this, he said with some emotion, "In this world, everything can be clearly priced. People say that the crime of killing his father is greater than the sky. Then you give him 100 million, 100 million, or even 10 billion, 100 billion, there is always a price that can move him." After that, he changed his words, "But the key is how much money it costs to buy this face. If it really costs 10 billion, or even 100 billion, do you want to buy it too?" Zin fell silent all at once. He really wanted to save Ruoli. Ruoli, she is her own flesh and blood. Tiger poison still doesn't eat her, how can he watch her die? Ruoli is the top master of the Su family, and she is still young. If she can be rescued, then she can make a great contribution to the Su family in the future. However, no matter whether it is sentiment or reason, the cost must always be weighed before calculating the plan to be implemented. If it is really necessary to pay a price of tens of billions or hundreds of billions, the Su family may not agree to it. After all, apart from him and the old master, no one in the Su family knew that Ruoli was his daughter, and they thought it was a subordinate of the Su family. It's fair to spend tens of millions for a subordinate. A top expert like Ruoli spends a few hundred million, and he just bites his teeth and accepts it. But if you really want to spend more money, this matter will be clearly out of balance in the eyes of outsiders. At that time, even if they barely accept it, they will definitely wonder if there is any hidden truth in it. Seeing that he fell silent, Changfeng said with comfort, "Zin, if Ruoli is the flesh and blood of the Su family, your daughter, and my granddaughter, I certainly hope that she will be safe. But when doing business, we must weigh the pros and cons in everything. Disadvantages, or advantages equal disadvantages, can be done, but if the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, don't force it." Zin asked in anguish, "Dad, tell me, how much cost and price the Su family is willing to bear for Ruoli? We also paid a great price to rescue Zhifei and Ziyu this time." Changfeng thought for a while, and said, "If Ruoli is illegitimate after all, her identity is shameful, so I can't equate her with Ziyu. Let's do it, within 1 billion, so that the accounting can be hidden. Hi, it's troublesome for other people or your wife to ask." Zin hesitated for a moment and said, "Well, I will try it first, and I will fly to Osaka after a while to see if I can find the key person to mediate." Changfeng said, "Don't go. The Japanese government has long known that you are behind the scenes, but they don't want to get into trouble with Su's family for the time being, so they won't go further after arresting those who did it. But if you still don't understand a little bit and leave Japan as soon as possible, in case there are changes in this matter, if someone among our people confessed your name, I'm afraid the Japanese government will change their mind and take you." Zin thought for a while, and felt that Dad's words made sense. In this situation, the Japanese government has more or less sold the Su family for a little bit of face. As long as the murderer is brought to justice, they cannot hold the Su family accountable. But if he doesn't keep a low profile at this time, and instead goes to Osaka and try every means to mediate and save people, then he might be a bit shameless in the eyes of the Japanese government. When the time comes, the Japanese government's lack of security will turn its face. Thinking of this, he sighed and said, "I know, Dad. I will fly back from Aomori early tomorrow morning." "Yeah." Changfeng said, "You have to adjust yourself, don't put all your thoughts on Ruoli. Now the Su family's trouble is even greater. After returning, we will have a meeting to discuss the feasible solutions at this stage. The plan, if we don't quickly fill up the lost power, some families will be ready to move." "Okay, I see." At this moment, Eastcliff, Wade family. The major news of the Su family in Japan has instantly detonated the entire Eastcliff public opinion. All the families were shocked by this news, because no one expected that the Su family, as the top family in China, would suffer such a big loss and encounter such a big failure in Japan. However, this news is a piece of huge bad news for the Su family, but for other families, it is a piece of good news that cannot be better. The strength of the Su family in Eastcliff is indeed too strong. Except for the Wade families barely able to fight them, The gap between the other families and them can be described as heaven and earth. Now the strength of the Su family has been severely damaged. For other families, the gap with the Su family has naturally narrowed, so everyone is naturally happy to watch the Su family's jokes. Among them, the Wade family was naturally the most excited one, not all of them. Zhang Chen was pacing back and forth in the living room of the villa with excitement, saying, "The masters of the Su family have always been a problem to my heart, especially that Ruoli, young and strong, scary, and capable of doing things. She is very strong, and the execution is outrageous. She has always been a thorn in my eye and a thorn in my flesh. I didn't expect that this time the full fold will be in Japan. It is great." Yeah. Andrew on the side was also full of excitement. The Su family is really losing money this time. The top masters have been swept up by Japan. For a long time in the future, they will all have their tails in their hands. Zhang Chen nodded and asked him, "How is Morgan talking with Takehiko?" Andrew shrugged. Morgan met Takehiko at the hospital, but Takehiko doesn't seem to be interested in continuing this business at this stage, so he doesn't seem to be too caring. Zhang Chen said, "It is understandable. After all, even ordinary people may not accept this kind of thing after losing their legs. What's more, Takehiko, Japan's top rich man, is understandable to face a period of depression." Andrew asked again, "Then should I let Morgan come back, or let him stay in Tokyo to see?"